The launch is right now.
Hello, this is VP on the radio Time TNL, the radio you're listening to.
What's going on, guys? TBA here.
Yeah. It's DJ Scrib. DJ Scrib.
VP on the radio you're listening to Time TNL, powered by Do Work Media.
Take care of yourself. Take care of each other.
Always stand up.
Support is love. Is love. Time TNL. Hello, this is VP, and you're listening to Time TNL, powered by Do Work Media. I'm your host, VP. You can follow me at _ call me VP on both Twitter and IG. And I'm here with DJ Scrib.
Yo, it's DJ Scrib. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud. All social medias are DJ Scribble6.
That's so convenient.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm tired of saying all of those.
Yeah, all the different
Yeah, so I'm going to just say all social medias. Just look me up.
Just
I'm
all
there.
under the same name.
Under the same name.
Make
DJ
it
Scribble6.
easy.
Real simple,
Make it easy. We've got an artist in the building today as our special guest. We're excited. We call him Sunny. I was trying to think of something funny. I'm sorry. I was trying to think of something. I couldn't figure it out. We call him Sunny D. No?
Nah.
See, I need that Z93 laugh.
I was just about
Right,
to say.
that was perfect.
But anyway, we got Sunny in the building. What's going on, Sunny?
It's all good, man. It's your boy Sunny Malin. I figure I should do my plug. Sunny Malin
Yes,
on
you should.
Facebook,
Word.
Twitter, Instagram. I'm probably not gonna say much on Twitter, but Facebook is probably your most prominent thing. SoundCloud, Sunny Malin, blanket statement, just like Scripps.
So do you
stuff.
get for your like MC name, is it going to be Sunny Malin or just
Yes,
Sunny?
Sunny Malin.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool. It
Actual
almost,
last name, Sunny being a nickname.
it
given to me
almost
by-
sounds like. So what's the name? What's your
My name?
What's your
My
real
actual
name?
name?
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to reveal all that.
It's Tim, and that's cool. But that's weird because now, like,
It's Tim, and my dad's name is Tim.
yeah, Tim is a cool name, as far as regular humans and shit. But yeah, it's funny now because now I'm starting to look to want to get into real estate and things like that. So
Yeah.
people will call me Sunny and then notice my email says Tim. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to use Tim a little bit more.
I think that's what happened with me because I was like, who the hell is Tim? When I got the email, VP was like,
Oh,
he
that's
sent it
probably
to
what
you, and I was like,
Exactly.
what are you talking about?
In that moment, I realized I should have a Sunny Malin email account now.
And
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
at that moment.
I
It was at that moment.
knew
That's
it.
hilarious.
So real estate, you say you're getting into real estate?
Yeah.
So what's up with that? What's good with that?
It just makes more sense. I'm starting to realize the problem being, or not the problem being, but just being a young black male, we can't all just rap or play sports and then expect
True.
black problems to just go away. But
Like that.
either way, I'm just tired of having a boss. And if I'm going to have a boss, I want to have the biggest payout possible. So,
Yeah.
I'm starting to look into different not different venues, but different avenues, be it real estate, stock,
Yeah,
whatever.
just some different things that you can
You know.
manage on your own.
different
type
ways to
deal.
invest, So.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. And do you want, when you say get into real estate, are you talking like realtor route? Or are you talking about you want to own property, you want to flip it?
I'm
Or
gonna start the realtor route. You know what I mean? That's a little more secure than just jumping into real estate investing, So
I'm going to flip this house.
yeah, and then it turns into,
The roof is terrible.
Right.
turns into
Like-
big dog debt. And I ain't with that.
It is
Yeah, that's not
haunted.
It is haunted. You can
Oh,
make
no.
money. You can make money.
Can still make
Shout out to American Horror Story. Though. Shout out to it. But yeah, Sunny is here today because
Why?
you've got a debut album coming up.
Oh, God.
What?
Yeah.
I don't see. This sucks. I don't have any like little like nothing.
It's okay.
We can make up our own.
Pow, yeah.
That's right. Pow. Yeah, that's the
Hyperbole.
one that we're gonna do. Hey.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That
OG
I
Batman.
think that should be a thing.
Yeah.
Debut album. Is it full out album? Is it an EP or?
It's more so either EP or a tape.
Okay,
just
okay.
a body of music. I'm usually anybody who's familiar with my music up to this point has known that I've only dropped like just random tracks, every now and then, or 2 tracks at a time, one
Right.
track at a time. But now I'm getting into trying to monetize it, and you can't do that if you're just dropping one track. So
Yeah. Right.
so now I'm doing bodies of music.
Have you ever made like a compilation of just all of those tracks that you dropped?
I made like a playlist, and it was kind of redundant. It didn't make too much sense because that music was already out there. So it was just a playlist of music that was already set in place.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting more into the habit of if they get a little hungry out in the streets, be like, yo, let me hear something, you know, let them get hungry. And then I give them a whole plethora of music, you know, either they can download it or buy it or come to a show or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't throw shows with just one track at a time.
Yeah,
I
that's
hear
low. Yeah, that's that'll
Can't
stump
really-
you.
Can't really satisfy anybody with just one track at a time.
You're
It,
right.
you know.
Yeah, you
makes sense
can't
to
have
me.
a big build up to like you performing like just one song.
Exactly. It just don't.
And
That's
they're
what
like,
I never
oh,
understand about like Designer when he went on tour or when he was going to other places. I was like,
Yeah.
what else does he perform? Like, what else
Maybe
does
it's-
he actually do?
people say he has stuff beforehand.
Right.
Name one.
I can't name it. You know I can't name it. They probably watched him for 30 minutes do those dance moves or
You're
whatever.
right.
it is.
Yeah, that's his thing. He's
Unless
a
you
dancer.
Hov did the whole Picasso baby thing where he performed the same song like 4 or 5 times and he had like a small venue and it was like just a bunch of random other acts, different like almost circus show acts happening while he performed it. It was really weird, really autistic.
Wow.
But,
See, but that's different.
he's Hov.
That-
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
cool.
You know.
You
Like,
say did we say artistic or autistic?
Artistic.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if we were
Little
going to
bit of
use
both.
that as an adjective now. That was very artistic of you. You know, like- and that could be, that could be a lot of different things because
You know.
kids with like autism, they be advanced. So
You're
like,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Bars.
Like that was real. Dog, that was real autistic. Dog. Like he went beyond artistic. He
I
was
think that's a new
autistic.
thing.
Hold
We're
on.
gonna
That's
start
a-
that.
Coin it
Bars.
right now. Somebody gonna get upset though. You're making fun of. I'm not making
I'm
fun
not
of
making
autistic
fun.
kids.
I
They be
think they're
knowing.
Excellent. Right.
Word.
That I mean, they be like whiz kids in like one area, and then don't want you to take their animal crackers or something like that. You don't touch the animal crackers, and
Right,
then we could
straight up.
have all the answers in the world.
Yeah, I mean.
I mean, I'm just saying, But what's the name of the project?
I think I'm gonna just call it Malin. Yeah, I mean, it's just
Okay.
being my background. Lately, I've found a lot of respect for my own lineage, my own family, my own bloodline, and
Yeah.
when you're doing it for your last name instead of your first name, it's more of a healthy habit of planning for longer than the time that you have. More of like generational wealth instead of just I want to drive this flashy car and go broke, and then your kids end up having to start from the bottom
They
again.
sad.
It doesn't
Yeah,
make
they
sense.
sad.
So that's kind of the route I'm taking. So
Yeah.
I think I'm just calling Malin as my debut. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I like what you said. I never thought about that before. Is that when you put the last name into it, it's much more about like definitely more than you.
yeah,
You know, like you talking about your family. You talking about your ancestors, and
Your
you
slave
talking about those that
master.
come after you. Yeah, like
exactly.
okay, or sometimes your slave master.
also very true. That's a key point.
Which
I ain't
is
even,
true.
I didn't even pick that up.
Which is true. Because
real.
there's some of us out here named Johnson, and
Yeah, I mean,
right.
English last name.
that ain't there's a lot, pretty much all of us. A lot of Browns out there.
Right, exactly.
But that was very. I like that that interpretation.
Yeah.
We don't think about that a lot. There's a lot in the name. My mom always says that. But when you choose to use that last name, that's pretty. So the project you're talking about, kind of, are you said it's personal. So you talking about family? Are you?
Not really. It's as far as my project, it's more of like just a self-expression, basically on how I view myself and how the people that I'm trying to appeal to, if they were to sing along with my words, they would have to view themselves pretty highly along with it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I refer to the ancestors a good bit. I don't go down the familial line much because at the same time, I was just talking to Dave about this. You can't just come from out of nowhere and start telling stories and shit like that. Like, you still got to make music that's entertaining, make music that adds to your name to where a lot of people, especially locally, on the internet, there's going to be a crowd for you no matter what. But when you're talking locally, it's that crowd. You try to appeal to them as much as possible.
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense. That makes
so I
sense.
refer to ancestry, but it's more so, just feel good music, something that can make you enjoy your day type shit.
Well, is it like Kanye feel good music?
Which
or
Kanye?
like
Are we
The
talking
Life of
early?
Pablo Kanye?
No. Nah, it's probably more.
I'm just talking about like happy, or is it like Diddy happy, where you could just bounce around all the time?
Diddy Bop.
I mean, not necessarily Diddy bopping, but I mean,
Diddy
you have quite a good time. I mean,
Okay.
some
hilarious, Diddy
heavy
bop.
bass line type shit. you know.
Word.
So that's very interesting. That's interesting, especially for your debut album. Did you wrestle with concepts? Like, was this always the first thing you wanted to do, or did you have some other ideas?
How how I want to put it. I mean, I wrestled with it because this is the first, because releasing one track at a time, that's a state of mind, because you just do what you want in that moment. But when
Right.
you're releasing a body of music, all this music has to go together.
Makes sense together. Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know, what was my aim? If my aim was to do big numbers on the internet, then I would have basically did what I've always did. But my aim was to really utilize the local scene, the local following, you know, that face to face with people. So it became something different. It's a little more southern, you know what I mean, than what I'm used to doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it's a little bit more than. Okay, and you are releasing this project when?
I would like to do it next month, but it really just depends on when it's all final and said and done. Once it's all really put in place.
Would you want to do like a launch party type, like a album release?
I would like to reach the point to where I'm releasing something like every month. Thus, I'm having a show every month.
Trying to future it out.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm trying to get
Except coupling it with a show. Okay, that's very interesting. So it kind of like the event is also a part of like your promotion.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
it's
very
still, you know, it's still given to the culture, you know, of hip hop. Especially in Charleston.
Yeah.
And also, you know, trying to give back to everybody that's affiliated with that culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody getting paid, getting money, or at least eating. You know what I mean?
What in your idea, in your vision, what do you see as a good hip hop event? Like, I mean, obviously, if you have the mindset to have these events, what do you think would make, what would you gauge as, not even just as success, but what's happening in it? You know, like what is it? Performances.
Well, I mean, what I would consider a good hip hop scene is a hip hop scene that is circulating enough power for it to grow. You know what I mean? An example, I'll use this roughly because I don't know of other people throwing events or anything like that. But Dave's Charleston hype show, it's real consistent. You know, it's bringing in income. It's happening in the metropolitan area of Charleston.
Yeah.
And if everyone's really upset about there being diversity in the downtown area,
Right.
I think Dave is one of the main people that's really knocking it out, really getting it in there. You know, so as long as it's circulating energy and bringing in income and also growing and putting, you know, something in everybody else's pockets to where they're not having to wake up every morning and go do something they hate doing just to live. That's that's asinine to me.
That sucks, right?
Yeah, it's backwards.
That's not fun. That's
It's
not
not.
fun at all. I hate it.
Gotta have fun.
So what do you want to bring to the, I mean, event wise, what is it that you would like to, what would you do at your events? Like other than perform, but like, would it be like I don't know, like, do you have your own twist on it, you know, or are you just gonna?
As of right now, you know, since I'm, you know, really more focused on the first steps, you know, actually bringing it into manifest, is basically just, you know, putting mine on, and then at the same time giving other people an opportunity to put on for themselves, you know,
Right,
basically
right.
promote, and also, you know, they leave home with a chunk of change, possibly.
Oh yeah, there's definitely room for those kinds of ideas. I'm always curious because I know more people are going to be throwing events, so I like to see what everybody's different style is going to be, because I think that'd be very exciting. I mean, I think it's very exciting.
And I think the more you'll have, the more creativity that will come into place. Because I mean, if you don't have any, then everyone's doing it for the very first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you start having more and more people start adding more creativity to it, it just adds to the collective thought about it. You know what I mean? So that's how I see it. It's more of like a group economics basis for the hip hop culture in particular, especially in Charleston, because we all know that, like, I think Charleston is going to be a wave coming onto the mainstream pretty soon. Like how you were saying before, it's not going to be one artist that breaks through. And if it is one artist that breaks through, that artist is going to disappear. But I think it's going to be a wave, you know, like a group of 5 or a group of 6. It may not all be rappers. It may not all be singers.
Yeah.
You know, so
I see that, and I think that in something like this, it's important because we end up asking that one person that made it, or that one person that we asked them to do everything. That's what I wanted to say earlier with Charlemagne. We were talking about Charlemagne before, and you've got these people that have come from this area, and there's just more people who, when I take it on like a local level, it's like, okay, we throw events, I know 3 of us throw events or we attempt to throw events, you know, after a while, like I might want to go on vacation for my mental health.
Yeah.
But can I guarantee that somebody else going to throw an event? You know, like, does it matter to the rest of us? Like, if Dave stopped doing events right now, would somebody pick up and do events? Now, you got like Kari throwing events and things like that. And you've got other people getting much more interested. Like you're like, I'm ready to throw some events, you know, and that's the kind of scene we need to have. Now, granted, you know, that's also going to provide I don't want to say the word competition because people freak out from that. I don't freak out from competition because I feel like it makes people better. And I think I think that when we're all in it to win it, we're all going for the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, bring a good product to the table.
Especially if we're talking market wise. If you don't have competition, that's because you've already beat all the competition or no one's willing to compete with you at all.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you can't be afraid of competition, and I'm sure Dave doesn't even see competition.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So it's like even if there was competition, that just means that someone sees that there's a golden opportunity.
Yeah.
Someone sees that there's something to get from this.
Yeah.
And when you have not necessarily opposition but competition.
Yeah.
It's just a sign of growth.
Yeah.
So, I'm fine with that.
I agree. I think about the times when in track in high school we would go to an event and there's no one else to run against you except for your team. Yeah. And so it's obviously we're competing, but we're all getting better. We still love each other after this, you know, and that's how we're going to do it. And maybe competition will be too harsh of a word for some people. So I can interchange that with standard. Yeah. Like if we all can have like a standard of this is, you know, these are our events, you know, we don't have to do them all the same, but let's just put the same kind of integrity into it. If we have the same integrity, then it's going to win. You know, that's what I like about that. But the project, when it comes to, I'm curious how many songs?
It should be about 8 tracks.
About eight tracks. About 8. And what when it comes to, because you said something very interesting, and when I said standard, I thought about it because you said, you know, whoever's listening to this is going to have that standard to really like understand what you're saying. So what kind of concepts do you pull from that is going to cause us to, we need to come prepared with some higher level of thinking? What kind of concepts are you touching on?
I mean, you know, a certain amount of history, you know, a certain amount of knowledge of spirituality in a sense. What else? You gotta be able to love yourself at the end of the day, because certain statements a lot of people are not willing to make. Like, a lot of people aren't gonna be able to comfortably say like, yo, I'm God. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't gonna be able to.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. And that's something that you frequent in your messages.
I'm not gonna it's not my whole theme, but I think as far as my view of humans, you know, if there was no humans, the concept of God just wouldn't exist.
Right.
So it just seems to be basic understanding. You know, I'm just human. It just so happens I'm God at the same time. Right. So that's self-love is a big thing to me, especially in the black community, because I think that's one of the main things that's fucking up the black. Can I curse here?
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, that's one of the, you know, the main killers to the black community. Be it economic or socially, is that there's not enough self-respect or self-love to really demand a certain amount of respect from you know, other groups or anything like that. So I would like to help with that. You know what I mean?
Do you think that from your project that someone who has no idea about any of those kind of concepts, do you feel like this project is a project that is a good introduction to them, or like we said before, do you need to come with at least some kind of familiarity, or can people listen to this and be like, I've never heard of this before, but he still broke it down enough for me to understand?
Yeah, and it's like I tried to make it because honestly, a lot of music today, people don't really indulge heavy into the lyrics. They just want that feeling, you know, that they can, you know, kind of groove to. So I had that in mind. I tried to make it to where, like, even if you're not listening, you still can enjoy it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even if you're not a big conscious rap fan, you know, you still like it. It still got that bounce to it. You know what I mean, I'm not making any Young Thug auto-tune shit, but you know, it's
Please don't make that. That's a good thing.
Shout out to Young Thug for listening.
You know, shout out to Young Thug. You know, he's doing well.
Shout out to him. Didn't they just show him on a Snapchat filter. He was using Snapchat filter or something like that.
Yes.
Some picture. But since you mentioned that, why don't I see your facial expression. So what are your not necessarily your thoughts on Young Thug, but what are your thoughts on Young Thug?
I mean, it's current. I wouldn't say it's a representation of hip hop. So when people say, "Oh, he's fucking up hip hop," no, I wouldn't really see that to be hip hop at all. So it's just rap, and rap has always been, just the gift of gab, just being able to rippity rap and diddly dee.
Right.
So I mean, it's just the current version of that. I can't get mad at him because he's getting his. I can't be mad at that. Same thing with multiple different artists like Yachty and
Yachi.
other
Yachi.
other artists. I may not listen to their music, and I may not say they're great, but they're doing something better than I am. So I can't, I'm not gonna come down on them.
True.
So.
That I was just having. It's funny that you say I just had that conversation yesterday. When I was at work, we were talking about hip hop versus like rap, and when people are just what do people consider the umbrella? Because some people consider hip hop as the umbrella, whereas some people consider rap to be the umbrella.
So what do you mean by umbrella?
Like umbrella in terms of. Like, obviously, we know we have hip-hop, but then we also know that we have trap, and we have conscious or, like, lyrical, and then you got all these different styles of hip-hop. So I always look at it as the family reunion. Like, everybody comes together at the family reunion. We all related, but we all got some different ways. So that's interesting that you brought that up. And the more the trends change, we kind of have to ask ourselves those kinds of questions, because when people who don't call themselves hip hop artists are winning best hip hop album,
that's
no
weird.
shade, but that's weird. Like that's weird, because then it's like, okay, well then what? Why do you get to win this, and what do we consider as hip hop?
Well, I mean, that depends on who's giving out the award.
Yeah, I agree.
Because when you look at hip hop as a culture. And you look at the people that are giving out the awards of best hip hop artist or best this, best that, hip hop is kind of a black cultural thing. And as far as the networks that are giving out the awards, the people at the top are white. So it's like when you see that, the disconnection, it's kind of understandable.
Right.
This is basically the white view of it. Of course, and I'm not, it's not a moment where I'm shitting on white people or looking at the dichotomy of it, but it's basic facts.
That's just
if there's a disconnection in definition, it's just because it's a culture being amplified by someone other than the actual community itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't
that makes sense. I think about that a lot when we when it comes to where are we going with hip hop and what kind of evolution is what piece or portion of its evolutionary process is it in, and where will it be in 2 years? I really think about that a lot. Where will hip hop be in 2 years? So,
Jeez,
but anyway,
it's a scary situation.
Who knows? Yeah. Now, before the project, you said that you've been dropping tracks before and things like that. What is one of your favorite tracks that you've already dropped prior to this?
Like if I go back to Full Metal is a track by Currency, but I was in this other unprofessional habit of taking other people's beats and rapping over them just because I like them.
Oh man, who does that? Who would do that?
Yeah, like I would do it a lot as a fan.
Yeah,
but I was doing that during the time where I wasn't taking my music seriously enough,
right,
to actually try to sell it or be in the position of where it was. And it was during those years where I would just snap on a record, and I wouldn't care if you understood it or if you was there. You need to go and do your research, and I just raised your consciousness type shit. But I mean, and that's
do your research.
Yeah,
read a book.
Yeah, I was inconsiderate as fuck back then. But.
I was super inconsiderate. Oh man, you don't hear MCs say that a lot about their projects. Like, yeah, I know a couple of years ago I gave y'all something that was probably being a real jerk.
Yeah,
when I dropped it, like I was probably being a jerk. I don't think I've heard that a lot from MCs. That's pretty. I think that's a first for me. But I like that though.
Yeah,
I like that because a lot of MCs, more than they would like to admit, they are that way. Some of them are like, or they started off that way.
Yeah.
And
And then they'll tell everybody else, yo, you just listening slow. Yo, you got to get on it. And then, no, I'm not.
Like,
can't
I
do
know
that.
why you can't get it.
Yeah.
What? So what does that mean?
And then that's redundant in itself, because if here it is, you know, people don't listen fast enough, and you call yourself doing a service, why would you give them something too quick to grasp?
Right. That's right.
It just don't make
Exactly.
sense.
He has the key.
He has the key. Exactly. But that's a very good point, and I think that MCs, if you state that you're doing this as a service for people, like don't preach one thing and then do another. Your music's gonna speak for itself.
You got to meet people halfway.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not the guy that's like, oh, I'm the savior of hip hop, yada yada.
Yeah.
But it's just a certain integrity. It's a certain standard. You know.
Yeah.
If your music is non-productive, then
right,
I just can't fuck with it. You know?
So when you do your release, by the time you do your release, because especially if you're talking about at least doing a show once a month, having music ready, by the time you release that first one, will the second one kind of be in the works? Will the second project be okay? So there'll be a series of EPs, pretty much.
And then of course this will you know funnel up energy into my brand, into who I am, to where you know, if I want to do a grand album or a finale or a Charleston tape or something like that, you know, I actually have the backing to do so.
Well, if you can go for a year doing EPs a month, by the end of the year, you can have a big party that's like, and here's my 2016 album, here's my 2017 album. I mean, that's pretty with of course some bonus features. Yeah, I know that's a good idea. Thank God we recorded it. Go back, listen to that. But but in all seriousness though, it's something that, you know, you take people through that journey with you throughout the year, and it's also kind of, you know, that's a big commitment, you know, and but I don't say that in a way like, oh, you shouldn't do it, but I'm just, you know, that's a big commitment, and I know work. That's work. That's
all it is. If you don't put energy behind something and expect it to move, then you know, you're gonna be lost.
So that's good. So what made you you touched a little bit on this, but is there any kind of like major moment that made you say, okay, I'm about to get serious about this? You know, is there anything you saw? Or
I mean, it depends on what degree would you ask. Because like as soon as I started rapping or writing, you know, I was like, I'm serious about this, and that goes way back till I was like 9 years old. And then, you know, for a long time I would rap to myself and not rap to anybody, but I was still serious about it. And then eventually I started rapping in front of somebody, but I wasn't recording, still serious about it. And then, you know, I started, you know, dropping one track at a time, thinking I was serious about it. And now I'm at that wave now where, you know, I'm trying to make money off of it and live with this as my career and not looking for a deal. So as far as a pinnacle moment where my last shift happened, I think it was because I kept getting jobs. And I was like, I don't like these jobs because they don't pay enough. And then I got a job that pays enough. I don't do much work, but I'm still not happy. So
that's right. Happiness.
When I came across that realization, that was the moment where I noticed like, yo, I'm gonna have to cross over into making money with it. You know what I mean? Or I don't like. I feel like making money has a stigma of like abusing something. That's not.
I gotta make this money, man.
Yeah, that's not what it is. But it's like we all got to make money one way or another. So as to why I would live unhappy just to make money when there's ways where I could make money doing things that I love doing every day. You know what I mean,
that's right.
It makes complete sense.
I think especially if you're gonna speak on like spirituality and things like that, these are concepts you are familiar with. I would say that. I think that when we say we want to make money with things that we enjoy doing, we're tapping into the idea of doing what you love to do. Because a lot of times when you hear, all right, you need to go out there and make that money, it's usually not coupled with, and by the way, do something you love doing.
Do something that makes you happy.
The thing we always hear is, well, sometimes we're going to suck, and sometimes you're going to do this, and sometimes. And I finally finished The Alchemist on audiobook.
Yo, shout out to The Alchemist.
Shout out to Alchemist for listening right now.
Books.
Shout out to Books for listening right now. It was just as clear could be that the you know, the boy and the alchemist are walking across the desert. They're taking that journey, and the boy is talking to his heart. The alchemist is telling him to talk to his heart, and his heart is telling him all this stuff, and then finally it's like a the heart is pretty much saying, man, I'm afraid to do this.
Yeah.
He tells the alchemist says, tell your heart not to be afraid, you know, because you're taking a journey to something that you're not going to suffer because you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
And the boy turns and tells his heart, he's like, there's nothing to be afraid of, because this whole time, every single day I know is meant to be a part of my journey to do what I love to do.
Exactly.
And we don't think like that. We don't think like that. We get told, work the BS job, and then when you get old enough, you'll have enough money, and then you can do like 2 years of what you love.
Yeah, then you can love your life after.
You can love your life
after you've worked your wealth. I mean, your youth away.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and do that, and then, you know, by that time you're already tainted with all these other ideas of what it means to make it or to retire or whatever it may be. And then by the time you have the money, because the whole time it's been about money now.
Right.
The whole time it's been make your way up with money. By the time you get there with all this money, you're like, oh, I'm fine right here. You're complacent. You're like, I'm good, you know? And that's the reason why, when I understand the stigma you mean when it's like, because I make the money, because right now I willingly chose to do things that that make me happy. Yeah. And when I say to myself, I'm like, well, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out a way for that to make me money. It makes me kind of like uneasy, because I'm like, that's still not my focus. Yeah. I'm only saying money because that's what we grew up with, saying like money, but low key, I don't really care.
It's a part of functioning, you know.
Right.
If you're broke in America, you're not going to be very free.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
So that's really the crowd that I want to appeal to. That's the crowd I want to reach out to. The people that are trying to create something to live off of it, you know, doing what they love to do and building something. Yeah, I mean, so, you know, I have no real tolerance for the lazy anymore. I used to be really lazy.
Yeah.
But I don't have too much of a tolerance of people that aren't willing to put energy into something that they want to see come about.
No, yeah, I feel you on that, because the only person that holds you back is you. Like, there's no
all the time.
That sounds so cliche, but it's the truth. Like, you,
and I'm also understanding that there are forces against you outside of yourself, but to deem them higher than you is,
that's right. That's right. It's still you stopping you somewhere. Because you letting this thing that's not higher than you like tell you what to do. So
exactly.
That's very interesting. Now, so we know what the game plan is, at least for that, what you want to do in terms of like hip hop shows and things like that. Now, is this something that you want to keep it in like the Carolinas, you want to keep it in Charleston, or is it something that you have greater vision to, all right, it's going to go outside of this state, it's going to hit the nation, the world, things like that?
It's something that's it's starting in Charleston. And I think Charleston will have its own chapter and has a very real amount of strength here. Like there's not only a lot of talent in Charleston, there's a lot of motive for creativity in Charleston. There's a lot here historically. There's a lot here multiple different ways.
A lot of inspiration around.
Yeah. So, but as far as me, you know, I don't want to just be that guy from Charleston. Yeah, it's part of my background that I'm from Charleston, but, you know, I'm going to be going, you know, multiple different, you know, countries possibly. You know, all that. So
like that. Now, I got a question about artistry, and this is I was thinking about this a little bit earlier. Do you think that it seems to me that every MC that we come across, and maybe this is natural course of things, but every MC who come across is like, yeah, I want to be like known worldwide, right? That's always like I want to be known worldwide. Do you think that there's benefit in being, and I don't know how to describe it, not known worldwide? Do you think that a rap artist, an MC, can have a successful career without, like they might have those moments where like, oh, people recognize them at this forefront or something, but what if you had an MC that was really good and they only like, they made a certain amount of money and they were content and they're like, this is my career, you know what I'm saying?
Do it.
Do you
know
think,
what I mean? How basically like how that touches on the same line like how J-Rock was saying, you know, you want to go to the radio last.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you get your song straight to the radio but nobody in your city knows who you are,
right.
you know, that's basically a fail. But if you say you you make a real following within your city, there's multiple things you can do and it generate income like that to where now you're living off of what you love doing. So I mean, unless your standard personally for your own happiness is being known worldwide, then
that makes sense too.
But if if all you want to do is just live off your music comfortably and have something to pass down, or whatever, I think that's completely possible to do in your city, unless your city is really, really poor.
Yeah,
I'd imagine.
Oh, but and I think that I say this because I think that a lot of times we don't give the arts enough credit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might have like a homie that can like really like draw very well.
Yeah.
And sometimes, a lot of the times, they're not going to get the credit because of the fact that their painting or their drawing isn't hanging up in an art gallery, and not only an art gallery, but a well-known art gallery. Whereas if you're a doctor and you got an office, you're automatically just respected because you're a doctor, you got an office, and you're seeing patients. You may not be the top known doctor. We don't really have like top known doctors. I'm sure that there are, but
there's no celebrity doctors running around.
Right. Usually we
doctor, you straight.
We just respect. Yeah,
that guy.
I met him for the first time the other day, but
his
still,
voice
it's
is
like
it's
like
does he talk like that in real life?
He does.
Yes, he talks just like that.
It's a real thing.
That's cool.
I've cut the commercials for him a lot of times.
Oh man.
But we automatically respect certain people. Like we don't give them that kind of, you're a doctor, but you ain't at such and such hospital. We don't do that. We just, they're a doctor. But with an artist, you a rapper, but you ain't on such and such, and so there's so much stigma, or not stigma, but there's so much pressure that like, I think that's a lot of the reason why hip hop artists, they astound me so much, because there can be so many different artists, so many different styles, one goal in common: I want to be known worldwide. And you're like, man, like all of y'all want to be known worldwide, and it's like all of y'all want to be known, and it's not that I knock that vision. It's just that there are some people I feel like really do want to be known worldwide. I think there are some people that would be content and very happy just being known statewide, but they don't realize that because they're constantly being told, be worldwide, be international,
you're
be
not
international.
good enough if
you're not good enough. They don't get respect. You know, like, well, everyone in South Carolina, but they don't know you outside of this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we give artists a lot of credit for the hard work that they've already put in.
And that could be culturally, especially if we're talking about hip hop, because in hip hop, the whole theme is, usually I'm better than you and you ain't stunting like me. Yada yada, this and that.
Right. Let me strut my stuff. Yeah.
So but when you got the culture of doctors, doctors connect with the fact that there's, oh, you're a doctor too. Yeah, let's, and they get along. They're
gonna have their societies and stuff like that. They're doctors,
But when you got rappers, it's always like, oh, who's better than who, and this and that. Is constant competition. And as far as like artists with like paintings and things like that, that has more to do with the collective community of creatives. Whereas if you have a community of creatives where everyone's just doing their own thing, it's going to be hard for someone to get recognition for anything.
Right.
But if you have a collective community of creatives all doing things together, it's real easy to get that spotlight, or real easy to get that recognition or respect, because there's an actual community around you.
Yeah.
But if you're just out there by yourself, then you got to appeal to people that respect people like doctors, people that respect people like loan officers and shit like that. They're gonna look at your profession and be like, it's just, grow up, get a job,
Right. Grow up, get a job.
That's the importance of community to me.
That's crazy. Grow up and get a job, and a lot of these doctors are prescribing you medicine because they get a percentage off of it. You don't even really need it.
It's incentive.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Getting kickback. Yeah.
My God. But now I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit, because you live here in Charleston. You're an artist, so you know about Southern Discomfort. You were there.
Yeah.
And by the way,
briefly,
no one knew that you were there because you had cut your hair and didn't tell anybody. For those of you who don't know, Sunny used to have dreads, very, very long. They were beautiful locks. Beautiful locks or dreads? Am I saying the correct terminology?
You should
here?
say locks.
Locks, right. So very, very long locks. And son, no pun intended, son rolled up in here to some, yeah, so what's going on? I was like, who is this man talking to me? And I said,
stuff.
oh shoot, yeah, wondering how I've never seen this dude before. And I'm like, oh my god, this Sunny, like,
Yeah, man.
don't be cutting hair and not telling people.
I mean, it was cool. It you know, it was just time for something different.
Yeah.
You know, I was gonna wait till after the winter time, but you know,
Yeah.
I had my son.
I was
it was
just about to comment on that. Yeah.
multiple different growths that was happening, and it just felt like a time to shift. You know.
So you just had the feeling then. Yeah.
Once I started to change into the time of thinking about growth and starting to have that feeling,
Yeah.
it just started to feel like it was a weight and it was in the way and things like that. So if anything, I'm gonna start them over.
I see that makes sense too.
I'm gonna still get them later, and it's just gonna be a newer journey than before. Because the journey that built my current, or my dreads that I cut off,
Yeah.
that was a real irresponsible time of life. But
Do you have some of the
No.
locks? You did away
Yeah.
with them all. Yeah.
and people keep asking me that, and I'm like, yo, if I was gonna keep my locks, I would have just kept them on my head.
Yes, because
you know?
I've met so many people that are like, here's my bag. With my
Yeah,
locks.
they got
I'm
them
like,
in a
wow.
bag or something. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, they've been storing them
That's
away and
unsanitary,
stuff.
yeah.
You like, I'm like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't know if that's kind of like in the community, in the locks community, that's like a thing. Show me your cut off locks, dog.
I mean, you know, people are free to believe what they want.
Scrapbook that thing.
If I was gonna keep them,
Like how they press the flowers.
Yeah.
You can get them reinstalled. See, you should have kept them so that you like, when you get in that middle stage, you could be like, yeah, just put these joints in
Yeah,
here
just
real
tie them in
quick.
there.
Yeah,
They're technically mine. you
yeah,
know.
I mean, technically it's mine. Like, you know, I just put these
Hit 'em with
joints in
that
there.
weave story.
But yeah, so
I
they,
bought it.
but that's you know that's your no, it'd still be kind of like a weave. But
Yeah.
so you showed up and you asked a couple of questions. I'd stepped away from the stage because it was so hot. But what was your viewpoint on that? What was your take on?
Now it was two different topics. It was the slave baby thing, and then there was, you know, diversity
Right.
in the downtown scene. The way I see it is, according to Dave, 25 to 30 different venue owners were invited to come, and only 2 came. And I think that in itself is a statement that, you know, they don't care. And why is that? Because you can't tell someone else what to do with their business. You feel me? So if they have their business and they want to post slave babies outside and, you know, exclude black people, that's their business to do.
Right.
But, you know, you shouldn't spend money there, obviously.
Right.
So the way I saw it was, yeah, this is a cool discussion, but what also stood out to me was 2 things. I showed up close to the end.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost over. And
Right.
I pulled KJ aside and I was like, yo, did anybody bring up the fact of it being the responsibility of the distressed to build their own venue so that they have their own skin in the game and, you know, thus solves the problem? And he was like, yo, man, that's a really good point. Nobody brought that up. And I'm like, yo, what are we really here talking about?
Yeah.
Are we really here forcing white venue owners or outside of the hip hop culture venue owners to force us to perform in their venue if they have their own plans and demographic? It didn't make sense to me. And then on top of that, if they were to do that, the thing that would make them move is the numbers. Meaning if they could bring in a huge crowd because it's a hip hop event, then of course they have incentive to do so. But
Right.
the night before, there was a hip hop event and you couldn't even fill half the room. Now Dave said Dave said that there were certain things with it, the whole misunderstanding with Boone Hall, yada yada. But you can't come together seriously as a community and demand respect about a topic, especially when, you know, your example happened the night before. The whole room was packed on Southern Discomfort, but the actual hip hop event last night to support your own, you know, leader,
right.
you know, it wasn't even half full. We
Well,
all fit
see,
in one corner. You know
I
what
think that it's also about being on one accord, because if people don't rock with that establishment, everyone don't rock with that establishment. And I made
That's
that
very true.
very clear that I don't. And so that's something that's like, I also, it's, you know, being on one accord. It's like, I got my limitations. I'm not going to a place that has wronged us before. And because they shouldn't get our business, like you said, like, and you don't have to spend your money there.
Spend your money.
But I do understand kind of, I guess, like kind of the paradox of it, because now you've got your people out there and you want to support your people, but you don't want to I think it's all about being on the same page. Because I
Yeah.
think after that, Dave was saying how he was talking about he said, "Oh, I didn't know that it was like that," and I was like, "Yeah, man, I told you it was like that. I told you I don't rock with these people."
That's what,
you
that's
know
what
what
he
I'm
told
saying?
me afterwards.
And I think, but it was unfortunate in terms of timing because
Mhm.
then it would have been too easy for Boone's owner to be like, "Well, y'all was here then, blah, blah, blah," you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I do understand what you're talking about with that.
because Southern Comfort was a move on one accord. It was basically a community that made a move. Everybody came out. And
Right.
you're going to have opposition from that, especially when this move is chastising, you know, an already existing establishment. So if someone was wanting to snap back to this very move or this community, it would be way too easy to just pull that example of the night before out. You know what I mean? And then they'd be like, well, the reason why we don't venue for hip hop shows because they don't attract enough people, you know. And then
I would have snapped back and said, "No, actually, you sent this email, and that's why we don't rock with you." But I would have been ready. But the point is, but I still feel what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Like I do, I still feel what you're saying because it is important, and that's what's gonna, you know, that's what pushes a movement. You know, like I mean, hey y'all, we gonna be at this location today. Boom. The LGBTQ community does that.
Yeah, every other community does that.
They be like, "Yo, we gonna be out here tonight."
And they slam pack the street.
And they slam pack and they spend some money.
Exactly.
But even then, but they also, you know, they sometimes they suffer with the same kind of or similar, what is it? I'll say kind of roadblocks because they can show that they got all this power of money.
Yeah.
And then still the venue like, oh well.
So
sometimes you gotta have your strategies, like you know why you did what you did and
Yeah.
understand why you did what you did.
And my thing is, the way I see it is like it would have been the Southern Discomfort would have been better had with no venue owners there, and we all just address the issue that there's a certain type of discrimination that happens downtown. So that shines a light on the importance of us having our own venue. You know what I mean? So every time that there is an event for us, we need to slam pack in it so that the people that set up that event would be in an economic position to be able to open our own venue.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And it's basically just contributing to a cause that everybody obviously wants to happen. Everybody wants to, you know, go downtown and have a hip hop footprint in the metropolis area of South Carolina, you know. But it's on its way.
There are some things that there are a lot of layers that were uncovered. I think a lot more layers than even the organizers figured was going to kind of unearth itself.
Yeah.
And I think you get to a point where you see all those layers being uncovered. You're like, oh, this is not just one thing. And you looking, you're like, oh. And I think that that's another reason why, you know, and there are talks of more things to come with Southern Discomfort, and I hope that they take each one of those layers and be like, okay, today's discussion is about this layer.
Yeah.
To the next discussion is about this layer,
Yeah.
and they should pick apart those things and let people who have those specific hurts talk about those specific things. And hip hop needs to just have its own layer, its own meeting with other hip hop planners and hip hop, you know.
Yeah.
I
Basically
think
as a community.
exactly. I think the community should be having their discussions, and Southern Discomfort is in a good place to help host that in a way that's like.
So what is Southern Discomfort? Is Southern Discomfort just Southern Discomfort?
I think they're trying to like, what is it? Like, is it a brand? Is it an organization?
Yeah, like is it a hip hop group,
No,
or is it a racial thing?
Southern Discomfort is more so of what I'm seeing it as now, as it seems to be fleshing out, and I think a solid, once again, 6 months of consistency will determine really what it is, because of the fact that what it appears right now is a group of music community members who want a forum or an outlet to speak to one another about what may be disrupting the community as a whole, and giving that platform to everybody to say, look, we're in Charleston, We want more diversity. How can we support each other and each other's music? How do we do that? How do we become a stronger front? And I think that what they can be, the potential they have, is to be the kind of not the like board of like elite members, but more so as just like whenever any musical citizen says Southern Discomfort, that means a safe zone. Like the once again, I'm going to reference the LGBTQ community again. Like at College of Charleston, they have the safe zone stickers, and that's just like, that's not just like a board of directors, if I'm correct. It's just like, this means it's a safe zone to talk about what you want to talk about. That's what's up. I could see the same thing happening for Southern Discomfort, like different venue owners having like Southern Discomfort logo, so that it's a safe place for you to discuss, talk, have an event, or whatever it may be. So that's what I see it as right now.
That'd be dope.
I think it would be too.
It'd definitely be timely if it was like not necessarily a board of elites, but a moment where creatives come together as a group and say what we need to do as a community.
Yes.
To help each other out.
Yes.
That's fire. That's what's up.
I think so, and I think that it'll help you to understand within that community what's your sub community and what do those people look like, and what do those people. Yeah, because I think when all the creatives kind of gather, you're able to see who also is interested in some other things. There are some people who are doing electronic music that are very much interested in hip hop, or doing country music that are very much interested in hip hop, and sometimes they're nervous or don't, quote unquote, don't know where to go to find something.
Definitely a good place for networking. If nothing else, that was the biggest thing that I got from it was, I ran into a lot of different people.
Exactly. Yeah. I did too.
A lot of good people, man.
Yeah, I did too. So I really enjoyed that. But you were there, and you had to drop the mic question. Almost to drop the mic question.
I had to pick it back up.
Had to pick it back up. It wasn't my mic, so I had to make sure that it was okay.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, I'm hoping to see more things like that, and having more events like what you're doing is going to really help, obviously, with the mission of that and what a lot of us were talking about during that time. So
it's just group economics, man.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to use the dollar collectively, then you as a community will have no platform to say what's right and what's wrong here. Yeah. So that was basically my stance, and it was really shocking to see that nobody brought that into play, and it shows that there are venue owners on stage that know that exact fact and won't tell you that. If I was a venue owner, but I'd imagine someone who has all this knowledge on how to make things move in a market, and everyone's complaining to me about how do I make things move? How do I make things move? And I keep that answer to myself. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a spit in the face, and I only see it that way because I thought about it, or I knew that. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, he's just, he's not taking our or we can't take his apology serious, or they're not taking our complaints seriously. It's like, I mean, what do you want them to do? You want them to jump up and tap dance and throw a hip hop show tomorrow? Like, it's not gonna happen.
That did happen for some people. There were some people that said, but I get what you're saying. No, there were some people that literally the next day were like, yeah, so about this hip hop show. Okay. And I did have some, there were also some venue owners there that were, see, it's so weird to say venue because we talked about this as well, about how Charleston doesn't really have venues. Charleston has restaurants and bars that also transform themselves when it's convenient for them into musical venues, a venue for that night. And I think that's another thing, is that there are some, like, it would have also been worth it, and I think this can be done in the future as well, to reach out to art galleries and to reach it. Because another thing that kind of aggravates me sometimes is that immediately we say we want to throw an event, and then it's like, I want 500 people there. Okay, why can't you throw an event for 50? That's okay. It's okay to throw an event for 50 people. It's okay to throw an event for 30 people. It's okay, like.
But those are the rules that you're under when you're trying to go into someone else's house.
Yeah, it's like
they're going to tell you that because they have the right to.
Exactly, and I think that a lot of times in a conversation I really want, maybe Southern Discomfort to have, or that I know I constantly have, is be a good event planner. Yeah. It's okay. make that the best night those 30 people have ever had. You know, if you got a gallery that only holds 50 people, that better be a top-notch exclusive event.
Exactly.
You can do it. It's very possible.
Very
Okay,
true.
like get you some bottles, pop them joints, and people gonna have a great time. You know,
have good lighting.
have good
shui.
lighting. You
You
know,
know what I
and
mean?
it's possible. And I think that a lot of times we don't think outside of the box and say, okay, I might not need, because then some people are like, well, we gotta make money. There are ways for you to make money. There definitely is. That's how they're able to do these kinds of things. They don't always, a lot of the big moves in Charleston don't always happen with 200 people there. They're in the cut, they're in these little areas, and they are hosting 30 people. And it's very exclusive. It can be very exclusive, but it can be like somebody can totally do an event. Watch me say somebody and then I do it, but whatever. Somebody could do an event.
That's how ideas happen.
You know what I'm saying? They could do an event where every Thursday they entertain 15 people. And you can only be there if you get invited. And it might change every single month. But that's something that can be done. That is a part of hip hop events as well. You know, if I have a private Legends of the Liquid Swords Jizza review, and I only invite 20 people, and I have food for them and drink, and we have a roundtable discussion about what do you think about this, and it's private. It's private. And then next month I'm gonna invite you over. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. But those are hip hop events still. You know, like and that's we need diversity in our events as well.
That's
so that's something we need to consider.
And that's community.
That's right.
Know? That's not just we're all here just to make money. You know, that's not community. Community is you know, having the friends. You know, basically.
That's right.
Going out to eat for a night and having hip hop discussion.
That's right.
So.
It's totally possible. It can totally be done. So that's what I want to see. I want to see more events, but I also want to see more clubs, and I want to see more. I want to see album review boards, and I want to see movie review boards, and I want to see all these kinds of like people kind of emerge and be like,
about to get it.
Yo, like
let's do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm down to be a part of that.
That's down. You know what I'm saying? Like if you do it, I keep saying things that I might do, and I'm just like, I need to stop with these ideas because
it's going to happen.
But it's possible to be like, hey, we got a group that every Friday we review projects from independent artists. That is needed in this community. That is needed. There is a need for that.
And that's the beautiful thing about having things like Southern Comfort or how Ben just threw his event, which I feel real bad for not being able to go, but my car needed an oil change.
Which event?
It was basically just a moment.
The meetup.
You know, music meetup. Yeah.
I don't know what exactly happened there, but like you said,
it was good.
Yeah, it wasn't a moment where he's rapping and
that's
making
right. He
money.
was
It was just community. You know what I mean?
That's right. And the person who hosted it was a white person. You know, like and that's important to me because of the fact that, and it was someone Corey Webb.
Yeah.
Who's in EDM?
Yeah, exactly. Like he's an electronic DJ, and he pretty much while he had been up there. He asked some very basic questions. Like Ben didn't even, we talked about this afterwards. He was like, man, I didn't realize he was going to ask me questions like that. But Corey broke it down. And I've been going to music meetup for about 4 weeks or so now. I think this was like my fourth one or something like that.
For real?
Oh, it's
you
a
gotta join
it's
the
a thing.
Facebook, man.
And every single time they talk about something different or there's somebody new.
Yeah.
So it's not always about hip hop. Like it's about the conference that just happened, or it's about this guitar pedal maker that is amazing. You know, like it's shout out to Dennis. But it's really cool, and it's kind of like watching a live interview. Corey asked these questions. He's got the person up there, and you're watching this live interview. And I think Corey asked some really good questions. He asked something as simple as, so what's a mixtape versus an album? And so everybody in the crowd was kind of like, wait a minute.
We know
What?
this?
And then like, why is he asking these questions? But as he continued, I was like, man, but that's legit. Instead of just asking, so do you feel like as a black person you're not making? He actually asked questions like, clearly I don't know about hip hop. Teach me.
Right.
And that's where I go back to like what James Mama Vicker says when she says there are some people who they genuinely want to know, and they sit back and realize, man, I don't know the difference between a mixtape and an album. And then he got into some other things, and he was like, I know. Matter of fact, he said something very key, and he said that when Matt Monday and Benjamin Starr had the disagreement kind of like with Manny right
Yeah.
there. He said that was the first time that I, as a white artist, as an electronic artist, saw that there were more layers to hip hop than I realized.
Definitely.
He said I saw that there was actually
Definitely.
a difference between a DJ and a
live
band.
yeah.
And that's legit, because when you try to go do an event, everyone has this one perception of what hip hop is.
Mhm.
They do, because they wouldn't ask you what type of people are showing up. They would ask you, so what realm of hip hop are you? You know what I'm saying? You might get a
Yeah.
venue owner who likes trap. There
Yeah.
might be a venue owner that likes live band with hip hop. They don't ask those questions though, because they already have one idea of what hip hop is.
Exactly. Which
So
is-
they don't see any possibility of hip hop being anything else other than what they see in the media.
And what's bad about that is you have that disconnection again, where a lot of what they think is hip hop actually isn't hip hop at
Isn't
all.
even right,
You know,
exactly.
it's just rap, or I mean, and I understand, I would consider trap music to be more hip hop than bubblegum, auto tune, swag music, all that dab shit. I don't,
Go ahead,
because
dab.
this is I'm not
Migos
gonna
be
dab.
doing
I
a little
can't.
trap from time to time. They hang out. They hang with that with Hood Rich and all them. So they be around them.
Oh, what? Who?
Yeah.
Migos.
I swear to God, if
That's
I
right,
have
they
one
sure
more
are.
good music disappointment,
Yeah,
I'm
they
just
sure are.
give
Yeah,
up.
Tyga and Migos signed the same day.
Yep. That's right.
I think he only signed Migos only because of Quavo. Like Quavo was
I was
like,
just
I
about
don't
to
want to. I don't want to go without them two.
Yeah.
This hurts.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I mean,
think it's
Migos
same-
is cool. I'm not going.
No, I understand. No, I did not start off liking Migos at all.
I love
Um,
Migos.
I only
I'm just
really
not
started. I only really started liking Migos when I started listening to them. When I started listening to more Atlanta rappers.
Mm-hmm.
When I started listening to Trouble and like Bankroll, all them, yada yada yada, and Migos was always around, like Hood Rich, Pablo Juan, and Rich the Kid and all them. They're always,
Yeah.
but they also, when they're back like in Atlanta, they're also not afraid to separate from each other. They're
Mhm.
comfortable with Quavo just being on this track, or Offset
Right.
just rapping with
Yeah.
Rich the Kid or something like that. They're
That's
fine
key.
with that. But when they're not, when they're outside of the city, it seems like they're not the most comfortable to be like, all right, we're apart, you know. So, and they also kind of rap just a little bit differently when they're
Oh, for real? When they're
back
separate?
home. Yeah. So,
That's wild.
and also when they're just by themselves,
Yeah.
like, because obviously a lot of what they do has to do with them vibing off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're separate, you actually start to see what their one style is by themselves, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Now I
Yes.
understand.
That's the contribution that each
Right.
person has
Right,
to what's
exactly.
considered Migos. That's pretty dope.
Exactly.
That's
So
fire.
I grew much more of a respect for them,
Yeah.
because before I was like, what the heck, man? What is this? But I understand a little bit better.
I respect music. Any music that, speaks about where they came from or their life, or if there is a struggle, speaking on said struggle, things like that. Things like that I can consider hip hop. But there's a lot of flirtation with that line that turns into unproductive music that you can't learn
Right.
anything from,
Yeah.
and that you can't take back with you. Like, there's a difference between a Scarface and then there'd be I don't want to keep using Young Thug in a
Uzi.
negative
No,
connotation.
go ahead.
Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah, or Uzi, where it's like, there's one rapper that
Yeah.
speaks about his grind or his lifestyle or where he came from in order to give you something that helps you.
Right.
And then there's that rapper that capitalizes off the fact that, ignorant shit is profitable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that
That's true.
difference.
That's pretty much, that was the best way to explain it
So
right
that
there.
Perfect.
So you'll have venue owners or different people that host buildings that put shows in them. When you tell them, oh, you're a hip hop act, what they may picture a lot of times, a bunch of niggas jumping around and shooting up the club and shit, but that's not all hip hop,
Yeah.
So if you don't see those multiple layers, then yeah, you're really at a disadvantage.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. You got to be able to look past or you'll also be very disappointed if you don't try to look into the layers.
And then also on the flip side, this is another thing I was thinking about, like how people will say, oh, rock and roll was something that was started by black people or started by one group and then was monopolized by another. How much do you want this gold mine of a hip hop community to continually pay other venue owners?
Mhm.
Why spend out of house? You know, and I don't say that as, you know, that's being a problem, but if you don't nip the problem in the bud, you're just gonna run into another problem later on down the road. So
I think another thing that kind of works is when you, once again, this goes back to event planning, because there are ways for you to reap 100% of your profit. It takes a little bit more work, but you reap 100% of your profit. You know what I'm saying? Like having your own bar.
Yeah.
Being able to have the door, you know, things like that. Like that's something that is, you know, make sure that even when you're using these other venues, make sure you are getting something, like in a good portion of something. I will take a venue that maybe I had the venue fee, but if I can get the door and I can bring my own bar, you
That's
best
money.
believe
Yeah,
I'm
you
out
good.
there.
Right.
You best believe that I'm gonna get that bag.
But
You know,
what
catch that
building
bag.
is gonna have, you know, the incentive to be like, oh, we'll let her have the door and bring her own bar?
It's very
Like,
well. I'll tell you what.
why would they?
But I'll tell you what. Those venues are out there, but Charleston has restaurants and bars. Charleston doesn't have music venues.
So what would a music venue be for the rest of the week? Like say there's an event that happens one night in a music venue. What does it do for the rest of the week? Somebody asked me this.
Oh yeah, that's another good question, and that's the reason why I said that Charleston doesn't have a lot of that, because there are venues, like if we're in like Atlanta or something like that.
Yeah.
And like you could, no, I won't even talk about Atlanta. I'll just talk about what my viewpoint of what a music venue does. A music venue has its times, obviously, that Friday, Saturday, even Sunday sometimes deal. Thursday through Sunday. You know, you've got the possibility of some real strong acts coming through. But that music venue can also be rented out for other things as well.
Okay.
During the week, you can rent out. There are people who want their own private parties. There are people who want wedding receptions. There are people who want all kinds of different things, little conferences and things of that nature. That can be done, you know, like, and that's what I envision in terms of, okay, kind of like the, it's just like the big like hotel rooms that like you could honestly like rent that out and you have your party. You know what I'm saying? Like you have your party and things of that nature. But a lot of times we're not so comfortable with thinking outside of what we see as venue, because that's another thing that sometimes I kind of scold about, is that have you looked at other places and seen the vision of where your people could be?
Definitely.
Instead of just constantly hitting up the same place over and over again and being like, well, it's not a party unless it's right here. And it's like, well, actually you could go to the spot that's a couple of doors down and
set up shop right
and set up shop. Like, are you willing and do you have the team that's going to sell it? That's we need more salesmanship. We need better event planning. And we need better marketing.
Yeah.
You know, like that's needed.
We definitely need. Well, I'm not as heavily vested into the community because I'm kind of new. I feel like I'm new. But like, you need location, or not you, but I feel like we need location. Like how you're saying, you know, there's an art gallery that probably won't let you do your thing. Well, then we're gonna have to have an art gallery. As many artists as we have,
right?
I don't know what art galleries make money off of every day.
Right.
To keep the lights on, but you know, we got enough artists to do it,
to figure out to see what could be made, because that's another thing with like Redux has their artists that come in. It was just weird. They have artists that come in. They have artists that they've got grants and stuff, like they're a nonprofit. But that's another thing too. It's just that there are a lot of things that can be done, but people. It's not a but. It's just that there are a lot of things that can be done, period. Sometimes you need to find the right people to work with, period. You know, and sometimes you're going to have to go in with people that you trust, you know, and do we have a lot of people around here that are willing to do that? And first you got to start thinking like that, you know, like you don't have to do everything by yourself. I tried to do that. And I realized, man, there's so much I want to do that, man, if I want to do everything I actually want to do, I'm actually going to have to work with people. Yes. And that's fine. Yeah. Like, put your ego away. Work with people and be happy.
That's a message I would like my music to portray. Yeah, I mean,
that's
basically
awesome.
a capitalistic understanding. You're gonna have to work together as a community. You're gonna have to branch out and do different things. You're gonna have to get out of the same old 1-2 if you're really serious about building something up, something long lasting.
That's right.
So yeah, that's basically my album in a nutshell. And there's gonna be more music to further explain that, to add more detail to it.
Yeah.
But it comes along with me actually acting out on it. Like, if you do have an idea of trying to build up anything, I'm always someone who's free to contact.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for saying that, because there are some ideas I said today that I was like,
Yeah. You need to write them down on the board.
Yeah.
I know, right? I do.
Exactly.
I just want, sometimes I come up with ideas and I just want people to like, I want to do it the first couple of times, and then I want somebody to be like, I would really like to do this, and I could be like, yeah, you should. Like, do it. Like, and then like, it's not about me. I started it. Now I just want you to keep on doing it, because I got 5 other things I got to do over here, and I just need you to be in charge of this. Take responsibility of that. You do it, like, I want you to do it.
Asked, I brought it up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll still be there in the back corner and be like, yeah, I remember when I started out, But I'm fine with being that kind of person, but I still don't want to do it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my
Thanks,
that's my
Vicky.
spiel.
I'll take your idea. I'll go with it.
Yeah, that's right. Run with that thing. I got it on tape now. I got it recorded, so it's
Right.
on tape. Look at me.
Let's do it.
It ain't on no tape.
Plot twist.
But Sunny, I do appreciate you coming through, and I'm excited to hear the project, and I really hope everything works out very soon for you in terms of like where you want to be at venue wise and all that kind of stuff, and it's going to be dope. I'm sure that it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure that
You'll definitely find more. You'll see me a lot more than just sorry I couldn't give y'all a Marvel DC conversation, but it's all
Oh
good.
no.
Fine.
No,
all good,
it's all good. That's pent up frustration from my coworkers, so it's okay.
That's pretty funny.
Shout out to J Rock.
That was hilarious. I was like, this
That's
is what we talk
that's
about.
every day. That's why I like my job,
Go time.
because I can
All right.
take out time to talk about DC. But yes, thank you so much, Sunny. And how can
Thank
people
you.
plug yourself again? Awesome.
Yeah, Sunny Malin. You can find me on
I don't know, it
Facebook,
just sounded-
SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram, and probably a bunch of other things I set up but don't actually use.
Right.
Snapchat,
MySpace
Yeah.
tag. Well, yeah, that's
It'll
right.
pick up
Black
from
people
there,
meet.
Farmers meet.
Word.
Right.
Christian
Y'all out
Mingle.
there.
So until next time, once again, I've been VP, your host. You can follow me at _call me VP on both Twitter and IG, and I've been here with DJ Scrib.
Follow me on everything. DJ Scribble 6.
And shout out to Booze. He wasn't able to be here.
Shouts out to Booze. You're old.
We miss you, dog.
Overworking ass.
We miss you.
But we love you.
That's right, Booze Cruz,
Right,
Mr.
man.
Booze Cruz.
TVA.
And we've also been here with
Mhm.
Sunny.
Word.
But
Yeah.
see, I keep just saying Sunny.
Yeah, you
I mean, you could say Sunny.
Okay, all
Sun,
right, good.
The multiple alias.
Sunny,
thing.
no digital.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Sunny, no digital. We've been in here with Sunny, no
Hashtag.
digital.
Hey, word. I'm
So
taking
until
that
next
home.
time, have a great day, Low Country. We out.
Support is love. You forgot.
Support is also very much love.
There it is.
And we out.
Mhm.